Welcome to the Flip and Right Show, found at www.rei-tv.com. I am Nick, your host. Thanks for joining me. I'm here talking to you, and I'm guaranteeing you're sitting at a computer somewhere watching me. You know, today we're going to talk about getting started in the business. I get a lot of emails and a lot of questions into me about, Nick, how do I get started? I'm interested in real estate. I read a book. I went to a seminar. I couldn't afford to take the boot camp, but I really want to learn this business. How do I get started? And I remember back when I got started in the business, it's a big question. You know, you're kind of not sure which way to go. You hear all these different things from so many different people. You know for dang-dangity sure that there's money in real estate, just because that's common sense that there's money in real estate. I mean, let's think about it. If you're going to pick anything in the world to sell, you're going to pick the one thing that there's no more of. In other words, there's no more land. You know, all the land that's here is spoken for. So, and secondly, people are always going to need it. You know, people are always going to want to have a place to live. People that have smaller houses are always going to want medium-sized houses. People that have medium-sized houses are always going to want big houses. So it's really a great business to be in. It's a super vehicle. But what do you do when you want to get started? First, I want you to keep in mind, it is a business. Now, plenty of people do this part-time. There's people that have become filthy stinking rich, investing in real estate on a part-time basis. But no matter how you look at it, if it's going to be your livelihood and you're going to fire your boss, quit your job, and do this forever, take it very seriously as a business. If you're going to do one house a year, if you're going to buy one house a year to hold on to over the long term and use that to generate some extra retirement income, or if you're going to flip one house a year to make an extra 10 or 15,000 bucks, no matter which way you take it, you got to look at it like it's a business, because it truly, truly is. It could be a 50-hour-a-week business, it could be a 20-hour-a-week business, or it could be a 2-hour-a-week business. But the key word there is it is a business. So like any other business, you're going to have to get some training before you get started. If you want to become a doctor, you got to go to college. If you want to become a plumber and get in any of the trades unions, you get some training, you become an apprentice, then you become a journeyman, and then you become a master. So no matter what it is, you got to have either on-the-job training or you have to get educated. And this business is no different. You really have to learn your chops in this business so you don't get chopped from the neck down. Keep it in mind it's a business, and get some education. Now, one thing I want to talk about, you don't have to spend a fortune to get this education. You don't have to go to college for it. You don't have to spend $20,000 a year. You don't have to stay in a dorm. But the point is, you do have to get some type of education if you're going to get into business. Now, some of the gurus will tell you, oh, you can get into this business with no money. You could buy houses with no money down. You could get into this with absolutely nothing. And I'll tell you what, they are right. If I knew today what I know today, that makes sense. But with my experience in this business, if I knew everything I know, I can go out starting tomorrow and start flipping houses with 10 bucks or 20 bucks or 50 bucks out of my pocket. I can go out there and do it. But you can't if you're brand new in this business. When you get started, you have to invest something to learn the business. And what do you have to invest? Either you got to invest money, or you got to invest time, or in most cases, you got to invest a little bit of each. And that's where the choices come in. It is very possible to get into this business with a very small investment. Very, very small investment. No doubt about it. The gurus are right. But let me tell you something. When these gurus say that I can teach you how to buy a house with no investment, or I can teach you how to buy a house with no money down, they're right. They can teach you how to buy a house with no investment or no money down. But you're going to have to do some marketing. You're going to have to spend some expenses to get the deal closed. You're going to have to pay professionals, you know, attorneys, accountants, title companies. There are things that it does take some money to get into this business. Don't let someone kid you. They're not lying when they say you can buy houses with no money, because you can buy houses with no money. As a matter of fact, I can find people to give me money to take their house. But I had to learn that first, and that's where, like I said, you're either going to have to invest time or invest education. So first you got to decide which way you want to get into the business. You make the decision which niche to get into. There's a whole ton of different businesses, types of ways to do business in this industry. We were talking the other day, I bet you there's 100 different ways you can make money in this industry. But most of us in creative real estate investing, I don't mean buying a house every now and then and renting it out and just letting it appreciate. I mean those of us that do this as a living or do it regularly, flipping houses, making money. You got to decide, are you going to buy houses subject to? Are you going to do lease option deals? Are you going to buy and sell land on eBay? Is your niche going to be learning how to flip mobile homes, learning how to buy mobile homes cheap or mobile home parks cheap and renting them out? Are you going to do long-term buy and holds like I just talked about? Are you going to learn how to do reverse mortgage investing? Are you going to do rehabs where you buy junkers? So there's a lot of different ways. Before you spend any money on training or any time looking into these things, decide which niche that you want to get into. There's riches in niches, as they say, I must say. So decide what you want to get into. Educate yourself. Get some training. If you go to Squidoo, www.squidoo.com, and you put my name in, Nick Cifoni, Cifoni, you'll see, or hub page, you'll see a nice article I wrote describing the different types of niches and how to kind of help you make a decision. But study up, learn what you want to do. Better yet, find an experienced investor and have a conversation with them. Go to your local RIA. Get on some message boards online, real estate message boards. Read up about it. Educate yourself. Find someone that's doing the business already and pick their brain to make a decision what you want to do first. If you just jump into it, first off, it's going to take you forever to learn all those different techniques. You're not going to learn any one of them good. So decide what you want to do, whether it's wholesaling or even bird dogging or flipping houses. Make that decision first. Once you know what niche that you want to get into, or two, you can pick two. Once you know but start with one. You can pick two, but start with one. Once you know what niche it is that you want to get into, you got to get trained, and you either got to spend some money, monies, or you got to put a lot of time into it. Most people that are successful in this business do both. If you really want to make this full time, I know a lot of you do. You got to pour yourself into this business. You got to live, breathe, eat, drink, sweat, and poop this business. I shouldn't have said that, should I? In any case, if you've got some money, you can go out really quick and get educated. You could almost get into some programs now that are just like a 6-month college, like a semester in college. If you've got some money to get into this business and get your training, there's one or two ways you can do it. Find a mentor. Find someone that knows what he's doing. Fund a deal. Tell them, look, if you'll take me by the hand and teach me how to do a rehab or teach me how to do a sub 2, I will fund the deal, or I will use my credit on this deal. Make sure you check the guy or girl out first, make sure they're reputable, make sure they've done deals, and make sure that they're trustworthy and you can trust them, and have everything on paper. I'm going to ring the disclaimer bell there because I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice, but I play one on TV, or I'd like to. In any case, if you have some money to get invested and you know what niche you want to get into, find who the teachers are in that niche. Like if you want to start doing wholesaling, there's a lot of different places that teach wholesaling. Steve Cook teaches wholesaling. There's a whole bunch of guys that teach wholesaling. Vina Cox has a nice wholesaling program. The guy, the UPS guy, he used to be a UPS guy, now he flips tons of houses. Chris Kirchner has a wholesaling program. A lot of different people have wholesaling programs. Larry Goins has a nice wholesaling program. Preston Ely has a great wholesaling program, and I'm going to talk about how you can get some help from me on these in a little bit. But whatever it is you want to get into, there's different things you can do. You can pay and buy a program, what I call a program or a system. That's usually going to cost you anywhere from $200 to $700 or $800. So if you decide to use, if you have a little bit of money to invest, and I say a little bit of money, $200, $400, $500, $600, $700, you can buy a program. Now a program isn't going to give you full-blown coaching, full-blown training, but it's going to give you a kit that you're going to get. You're going to mail off and get a box in the mail, or you're going to watch, or you're going to get something where you can watch it all online. And it's going to be a series of 6, 7, 8, 10 videos. A lot of times it'll be a video of a boot camp. It'll have a manual, and it'll teach you step by step how to wholesale, or how to do sub 2s, or how to do buy and holds or lease option deals. It'll usually, if it's a good program, it'll usually come with all the contracts. So if you've got about $400, $500, $600, buy yourself a program in whatever niche it is you're looking to do after you've read as much as you can find for free about it, and then listen to the program. When you're in your car, listen, plug it in the computer, book your time. This is a business. Schedule it ahead of time and do it. Learn the business and take it a step at a time. Learn it slowly. If you have a little bit of more money to spend, if you've got $4 or $5 grand, like a lot of people do, maybe even more, it depends on the program, you could go to a 4 or 5 day boot camp. Now, typically at a 4 or 5 day boot camp, not only do you get that person's full program, all his CDs and DVDs to take home with you, but you get 2, 3, 4, 5 days sitting in a room where they teach you step by step and let you ask questions. And that's a little more expensive, obviously. A box of CDs costs a couple $100. 3 or 4 day boot camp costs a couple $1,000, but you get a lot more out of it. The next step up, most guys charge $8,000, $10,000, $15,000, is a true coaching program or a mentorship program where you pay them to teach you the business one-on-one. And in that case, usually what happens is you get their kit, their program, their CDs, You get 2 or 3 days of full-blown training, and then you work with them on a daily basis afterwards. I don't suggest you ever get into a coaching program where you don't have telephone access. If you're paying somebody $5,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 or $15,000, you better be able to pick up the phone and call them when you have a question about one of your deals. So if you've got some money to put into it, it makes this a lot simpler. It's like deciding to, I pick a career, I go to college, learn the career, and I start doing it. Here's one thing I really want to warn you about. This is a little bit of BS. And those of you old-time guys know what I mean. Whenever I say BS, I'm going to show you a bandit sign. Do not become a seminar junkie. What's a seminar junkie? I went to an event once, and I sat next to a woman who had spent $30,000 on training and had never bought a house. As a matter of fact, she had never made an offer on a house. She had spent $30,000, actually put it all on her credit cards, and she was afraid to make an offer. She was afraid to put an ad in the newspaper. At that point in my career, she could have taught me the business because she had spent $30,000. Don't become a seminar junkie. At some point in this career, you got to stop learning and start doing, because a lot of this is learned hands-on. But those are the steps you can take if you've got some money. Now, most of you don't. I know most of you guys are sitting there laughing. You're falling out of your chair. Oh, $15,000, Nick. What are you, goofy? If I had $15,000, I wouldn't be watching this. Which is true. It's the way it was when I first started. Some of you are laughing. You can't come up with $300 to buy a program, and it's cool. I got it. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to have to put in a lot of time. Same thing, you start off by deciding what niche you want to be in. What do you want to do? What sub-twos, flips? Right now, short sales are the bomb. I'm telling you right now, a lot of money to be made in short sales. So decide, and that takes marketing money and a very little down payment to get into these houses. $10, $100, whatever. So anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I got it. If you don't have a lot of money, pour yourself into the business. Read about it. Google short sales. Read everything you can find about short sales. Get on these teleseminars. Get on these webinars. Go to events. You see, there's a difference between an event and a boot camp. Typically, a boot camp is going to cost you $3,000 or $4,000, and it's going to teach you 1 or 2 things for 3 solid days. In other words, they're going to pour their heart out to you, and they're going to teach you everything they know about doing whatever type of, whatever strategy they're using. An event is much cheaper. Sometimes they're free. Sometimes they're $60, $100, $150. An event is where instead of 1 or 2 guys teaching you for 3 days, you still go for 2 or 3 days, but you'll have 4 or 5 speakers a day for those 2 or 3 days. And one will talk about short sales, and one will talk about wholesaling, and one will talk about virtual investing, and one will talk about finding bird dogs. They'll each teach for about an hour and a half, and then they'll have a 15, 20-minute sales pitch at the end selling their program. Some people call these a pitch-a-thon. Don't be negative about these. I learned this business going to pitch-a-thons. I couldn't afford the big money to go to a boot camp. As a matter of fact, I've only been to 2 boot camps in my life. I could not afford the big money to go to boot camps, so I would go to these pitch-a-thons. And you learn so much. You listen to a guy talk for an hour and a half or 2 hours about short sales. Even if you don't buy his program at the end, you still learn about short sales. Then you learn about sub-twos. Then you learn about rehabbing. Sometimes the best way to decide which niche you want to go into is find one of these free events or $100 or $200 events where there's a lot of speakers. Go to the event, listen to what they all have to say, and it's really going to help you make your decision. Something's going to strike a chord and be like, oh, that's for me. So don't be afraid if you know a sales pitch is coming. Just resist the urge. Keep that hand down. Don't run to the table in the back unless it's something you've studied and you know you're really going to use. But eventually you are going to have to spend some money to get educated properly in this business. Like I said, it's a business. It's not a hobby. If you screw it up here, you lose yourself. You lose a lot of money. You got to be trained right. So eventually you got to spend some money. But you don't have to at the beginning. So pour yourself into it. Go to these freebie events if you can find them. Also these teleseminars. If you're a member at REI TV, and I thank you for being a member, you're going to get emails from me telling you about everything free I can find. Everything free I can find. I'm going to send you an email about. Please don't think I'm pestering you. If you don't like what I'm sending you an email about, please don't delete me from the list. Just hit the X and delete that email. Because here's what I'm sending you those emails for. They're things I've found that are free. They're teleseminars, they're webinars, they're free CDs that somebody's willing to send to you. It's all the free things or the really cheap things that I can find to get into your hands to educate you on this business without you writing the big check. So a lot of the emails I send are for teleseminars. And it'll say so-and-so is having a teleseminar Wednesday night about marketing, or so-and-so is having a teleseminar Wednesday night about auctioning. And granted, a lot of times at the end of the teleseminar, they're going to have something to sell. But you could hang up at that point unless it's something you want. Listen to that first hour. Listen to that first hour and a half. It's going to make you smarter. Even if you're only doing wholesales, when you're talking to a seller or you're talking to a buyer, if he starts talking about sub-twos, even though you don't do them, you better understand them, or it's going to make you sound like a dinghy. They're going to make their decision on how much they trust and want to do business with you based on your overall knowledge of the business, just not how much not just how much you know about wholesales. So when I send you an email about a teleseminar, if you find the time, go to it. I've been in this business for years, and I still go to every teleseminar at night I can find by anybody because I learned something from all of them. I don't buy all the programs. I don't need to. I'm closing 6 or 7 deals this month. Knock on wood. But in any case, go to those and watch them and listen, and you're going to learn something. And we have a whole page. Go to the membership, log in at rei-tv.com, click on member, and then click on your REI TV products or your primetime products. There's a whole page of freebies there, stuff that you can get for free, ebooks, CDs, everything that's going to teach you this business. Pour yourself into this business, especially if you can't afford the boot camps. Go to every teleseminar you can find. Go to every free event you can find. Learn as much as you can. Become a sponge. Soak it all in. Okay? And that's what's going to make you good at this business. But again, if you do have money, don't become a seminar junkie. So another way to do this if you don't have a lot of money is find a mentor. Go to your RIA. Go to your local real estate investor meetings. Meet somebody. Ask a lot of questions. Get to know these people. Sometimes some of them will open the door for you, let you work on a deal with them, or just tell them, look, if I bring you a deal, if I bring you a good deal for whatever you're doing, will you let me watch you as you complete this deal? Will you teach me what you're doing? Some guys love to do that. They feel like they're showing off, and some guys just like to help people. But this is a networking business. This business isn't how smart you are. I mean, you got to know what you're doing, but most of this business is who you know. It's getting that Rolodex filled. So when you get a good deal on a house, you can call somebody and get rid of that house. So, and again, same thing with my emails. When I'm sending out these emails, they're going to send you to all kinds of things. Learn everything you can about the business, but only pick 1 or 2. But continue to educate yourself, because a lot of times you're going to combine two. So it might be a wholesale deal, but the guy's willing to finance. So now you're going to combine a sub-2 with a wholesale deal and that type of thing. So pick one, get good at it, and then take a second one. Learn this step at a time, especially if you don't have a lot of money and you want to learn this business. You can start off by being a bird dog. That's how I got my first deal. I made $500. I flipped the house, toilet full of poop, overflowing, and I couldn't, they wouldn't even sell it to me. I mean, they would, but they refused my offer and sold it to another guy for like $4 grand less than what I offered, but I made $500. So bird dog for somebody, find them a deal, make that 500 or that 1,000, then go out and buy yourself a training program for $400 or $500 with the money you made from that bird dog. Then flip one house and go to a boot camp. You can take it a step at a time. You don't have to pour a bunch of money into this. You don't have to toss your credit cards out and get way in debt. There are different ways to do it. So those are some steps. If you got money, get yourself a good system, go to a boot camp, or even consider coaching. Even if you spend 10 or 12 grand to learn this business, I can guarantee you, if you take this business seriously and you do what you're taught, you can make that back very, very quickly. I've always told people, you can buy the best system there is and screw up by not making offers and by not doing it. You could buy the worst training program there is, and if you get to work, you could still become successful in this business. And you can start this business with literally no money out of your pocket and become successful. So also consider a primetime membership. If you're not a primetime member yet, you should be, shouldn't you? Go to log in, click on member, click on primetime, and upgrade. Because here's why. Especially if you don't have a lot of money to put in this business. We have a training call once a month, but more importantly, once a month we have a question and answer call. So you can call me and talk to me for a couple hours, ask all kinds of questions. It's kind of like a little mastermind group. We get together, we chat once a month, we answer, and it's small right now because we're kind of new. So you get a lot of phone time by joining that primetime thing and getting me on the phone. I'll help you decide what kind of niche you want to do, or help you get that first deal done. That's why I'm here. That's why I charge $47 a month and not $500 a month or anything like that. But use the resources. Use the REI TV resources. You're a family. We really want you to use it. Go to the freebie page, and when you log in, there's a whole page with the free stuff. Take advantage of that stuff. Use those resources. I'm going to put another page up soon on the website here that says training resources. So it'll show you where you can buy sub-2 courses and wholesale courses, and I'll only put up things there that I believe in. Same thing with the emails I send you. I won't, if I don't know the guy and if I don't think it's good, I won't send it to you. I'm going to have another page full of events coming up. So whenever there's an event, all over the country. You can find out where these events are and go to them and educate yourself. And again, more importantly, get on these teleseminars. You don't have to leave the house. I'll send you the email. You get on and listen. Don't buy anything. You don't have to buy anything unless you really dig it and it's in your niche. But you are going to learn something every time. I'm Nick. I hope I didn't take too much of your time. I try to keep these under 10 minutes so I can get them on YouTube, but who knows? I always go way over. Thanks for watching. This is rei-tv.com. Now go make an offer. I can breathe now.